Is this the most exciting bike of the decade? Will these wild hubs soon be at the Tour de France? And have the UCI finally lost their minds? All of that and plenty more in this Tour de France special edition of Tech of the Month. And we've got Sam back. He's bored of spreadsheets already.
Hello.
Well, the first bike that I want to talk about is, of course, that Factor. It's been about a few weeks now, so people have probably seen it circulating on social media. It's already won a stage of the Criterium de Dauphiné.
Yes.
And now it's at the Tour de France. Firstly, what are your thoughts on it? Because there's been some pretty polarising comments on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm intrigued.
Well, you know what? When I think about it, I kind of go down two trains of thought. I think the first one is that it's an aero bike. It's clearly built to be fast. And if that means that it's ugly, so what? It's totally functional.
So hang on, you do think it's ugly?
I think it's ugly, yeah.
I think it's got a bit of charm. There's some proportions that I think a little bit odd, but I actually, on the whole, I saw it in the flesh at Eurobike and at the Grand Depart, and actually I think it's growing on me. I think when it has a paint job on it, because of course at the moment there's no logos, anything like that, I think that will help it as well.
And obviously there's a lot of chat around whether or not it's UCI legal or illegal. It's going to be legal. I'm sorry, if anyone thinks it's going to be illegal, you're just wrong.
So from 2026, this is regarding the fork basically, which has clearly taken inspiration from the Hope track bike or the Factor track bike for that matter. And basically on the road from next year, the UCI have said 115 mil, I think, 11.5 centimetres is the widest that your fork can be basically.
Yeah.
We've done the calculations off of images and things, and it's close.
Factor's going to have done its homework. It's not going to have invested this much time and effort into what is obviously quite a radical design without doing their homework. And if anything, I would not be surprised if they've been in touch with the UCI through the development process. So yeah, it's going to be totally legal, and it's probably going to be a fairly quick bike in the wind tunnel.
I think what they probably have done is opened a can of worms. Are other people going to follow suit? Is it a good thing if other people follow suit? Because when the Ridley released, I did sort of say, this is a shame for the general consumer. It's a very specialist tool that isn't going to suit a lot of us mere mortals.
Yeah. That's
fine, obviously. But on the other hand, it's great that we can ride the same bikes as the pros, and we will be able to do that with this one. I'm rabbiting on here, aren't I? But for example, I really think that one bike to do it all, so your SL8s, your Madones, etc., are a really good thing for the consumer.
Yes.
Because they're the best of all worlds. Most of us can't have two bikes in the back of a team bus, like Israel Premier Tech can. And that means that you really are getting a bike that is really good, no matter what you're doing on it. So is it a shame that they're diverging again?
If we look at Factor specifically, you've got the Monza.
Yeah.
And arguably, if you're weighing up whether to buy an Ostrovam, an O2 Vam, or whatever this new bike is, I'd say forget all three of them, just buy a Monza, because the geometry of the Monza, the usability of it with the internal frame storage and the slightly altered geometry with the shorter reach and higher stack. If we're going to be talking about mere mortals don't have the flexibility of professionals that can train their flexibility every day of the week. So in that sense, I totally get your point, but maybe you just need to look at a different bike altogether.
That's probably true.
The majority of cyclists should probably be on an endurance bike anyway.
Yep. Right, so the UCI, we reckon new Factor probably legal.
Yeah.
The UCI has, of course, done plenty of other things that have made the news.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
I mean, we've got to talk about handlebars.
Handlebar width?
I mean, they have got to rethink what they've done there. We know that handlebars, actually, that's not a marginal gain. If you want to talk about speed, actually, having narrow bars does have a significant impact on how quickly you can go, or how many watts you can save.
Well, this is basically why they've done it. They're saying that the speeds in the pro peloton are too fast. They want to slow it down, and therefore it's 400 mil from outer to outer that your bars have to measure at least, and then 320 mil, 32 centimeters in between the closest 2 points on the hoods.
Yeah.
I just think this is gonna be, well, it's discriminatory against smaller riders, especially women.
Yeah.
B, I think we're going to have some wacky designs.
Yes.
There's going to be fairings all over the place. They're not allowed to be called fairings, are they? But they're going to be just weird shaped handlebars. I think we're going to end up with shifters that are sort of like maybe bowing outwards or something to overcome that.
It's just a bit of a train wreck, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I'd love to know what the process was internally within the UCI to get to that decision.
They must have experts
Yeah.
that they go to, ask for their opinion, and I can only assume they've asked them and then completely ignored all of their advice.
Totally. Because any logical person would have thought about smaller riders and women. Well, you'd really hope so. If they haven't, like, what's happened there? Like, it's totally barbaric.
It's not just getting rid of narrow handlebars.
Yeah.
Like a 32, yeah, fair enough, that is narrow. A 34, yeah, that's probably narrower than most of us need on the road. Loads of women use 36s, they're out. Loads of us use 38s, they're out.
Yeah.
Actually, my gravel bike,
Go on.
it's got 42 centimetre handlebars on it. The hoods I've got pointing inwards a bit because they've got flared bars, and they measure 32.3. In between the hoods. So my gravel bike bars that are 42 are just allowed.
That's, wow.
And
that's
they are not
wild.
narrow bars.
I mean, to come actually back to the point, I'd even say 34s, they should be allowed. I think women that are riding extra small frames, actually 34s are probably going to be right for them. I mean, I ride 38s on my road bike. I am considering going down to 36s. Yeah, it's really silly, and it's not even so much around, of course the UCI is doing this from a speed point of view, but if you think about it from a bike fit point of view and ensuring that the bikes fit the riders that they are intended for, I mean, literally to reduce injuries, yeah, it's really, really silly.
There is some good news. It looks like federations such as British Cycling are going to just ignore the UCI. Cool. So that is good news. It's not the first time. They did it with number pockets as well. So fingers crossed. Lots of other federations also just ignore the UCI, and hopefully bike manufacturers also ignore the UCI and build bikes for people riding them and not a few people in Grand Tours.
Exactly that. It's going to be interesting to see just how this develops, because no doubt this is not the last we've heard of this situation.
But that wasn't all they've done. They have also outlawed, or they're trialling, getting rid of everything over a 54 11 tooth gear. Thoughts on that? It's going to cause some issue for SRAM-sponsored teams.
It will. I think the other thing to think about that, though, is that often when we see those huge dinner plates on like a time trial bike, for example, it's not done so much.
It's not so you can go faster.
It's not so you can go faster. It's just so you've got a really efficient chain line, so you can sit in the middle of the block really well. But for the SRAM-sponsored teams, that's going to probably cause a little bit of carnage if that goes ahead.
I think it'll also, because it's done in like gear inches, so you roll it along the floor.
Yes.
Like they've done with junior gears for ages and ages. I think that there's going to be something to do with tyres to extend that gearing.
That's a very interesting take.
But I don't think that making your gears smaller is not going to make it any safer. They're still going to do 100 kph down descents.
Yeah.
Just they're not going to pedal as much, or they're going to pedal a bit faster.
I think really what we need to focus on, or what the UCI needs to focus on, is maybe safe sprint finishes.
Yeah.
Maybe looking at barriers.
Less roundabouts,
good markings. Like, it's these really practical things that would, in the heat of the moment, is actually going to save genuine injuries.
Yeah. They have done one other thing. They're going to ban everything over a 65mm wheel. To be fair, actually, I don't hate that one as much. That will slow riders down.
Yeah.
And potentially make it a bit safer. 65mm wheels are far more stable than 40mm wheels from years ago.
Yeah.
But they're still less stable than a 50mm wheel these days. I don't think that they're unsafe.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was not as bad.
All right, fair play UCI, 1 out of 3. Not bad. Speaking of things that I would like to see more of in bike racing, in cycling in general, is drone shots, because I've seen some wicked ones recently.
Yeah.
I know that you've been having a play with the new Hover Air. Just a phenomenal bit of kit, really.
Yeah, so I've had my hands on the Hover Air Pro Max X1 Pro Max, thank you. And it's pretty remarkable in terms of what it can do. So it can reach speeds up to 28 miles an hour, and it can fit in your jersey pocket. It folds up really nicely.
Less than 200 grams.
Really?
100 192 grams.
192 grams, yeah. And I think the thing that I really like about it is the features that it's very much a press a button and go. And of course there's an app if you want to control it through the app, but also through the interface on the body itself. Yeah, it's super simple to use, and you can also get a remote controller.
Yes, the beacon.
Exactly, that sits on your bars. So you can actually see what the camera's seeing, and there's a few little controls.
They've just added some functionality so that you can change its view. So if it's following you from behind, or it can track you from the side.
That's cool.
It looks really cool.
And
it can do all of that in 8K.
8K, which is insane. So yeah, I mean, my Instagram reels about to start popping off because, I mean, obviously you need unique.
All those 50 followers are going to be, they're going to be thrilled.
That is very true. But yeah, no, I think it's a very interesting piece of kit, and for cyclists and even people that are just outdoorsy, works well.
I've got one on its way, so look out for a video hitting the channel very soon. Make sure you subscribe to that. Right, the next thing I want to talk about is hubs. Not often the most talked about part of the wheel, but going round the team buses at the Tour de France, and Visma Lease Bike are there. They're using reserve wheels, DT Swiss hubs, solid choice. DT Swiss's top hub is the 180, that's the lightest one. Then you've got Visma Lease Bike. Most of them are using DT 240 hubs, the lower tier one. So I've been doing some digging, and it turns out that that's because they've got bigger bearings in.
Okay.
Which is apparently good for all sorts of things. I got digging a bit more, found these. So this is from a brand called Lavelle.
Yeah.
And they make the hub. It's a generic rim that it's laced to.
Yeah.
But basically they reckon that these are the best hubs in the world. So let me explain them a bit, because they look a bit different, and there's some really interesting stuff going on in them. First of all, they've got quite big bearings. Secondly, titanium axles through the middle, which, I mean, everyone loves a bit of titanium.
Yeah.
And that apparently allows them to get those 4 bearings perfectly aligned. And then the final thing is these fins,
Yes.
which is something that I haven't seen before. Now, the claim to cool the hub, which I find quite interesting.
Okay.
So apparently when you brake on a long mountain descent,
Yeah.
they've actually come from downhill mountain biking.
Okay.
Your hub heats up, and that makes it hard to keep your bearings perfectly aligned.
Is what they're saying, and I'm reading into what you're saying here, but as you brake, the heat transfers through to the hub shell expands, and then that means that the sealed cartridge bearing inside can move?
I assume so.
That's quite a bit.
So.
I mean, if that's what they're suggesting, that's pretty wild.
I had a chat with them, and they seem to know their stuff.
Okay.
To be fair.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of chat about machining tolerances and things.
Yeah.
And they reckon that these are, hang on, let me find the wording. Every hub is precision machined to aerospace grade tolerances. The attention to detail ensures ultra smooth operation, reduced drag, and increased efficiency.
Right.
So I'm going to put them on my bike, and I'm going to see what they feel like.
I can guarantee you now they're not going to feel any different.
Well, I'm going to find out.
Well, in the UK, we've got no mountain descents for them to remotely
heat
get
up.
hot enough. We haven't spoken about price yet, but again, for the majority of cyclists,
I don't have a price.
Oh, okay, that's for a good thing. But are these going to be any better, noticeably better than a set of DT 240s? Especially,
I mean, maybe
Visma
not
are
for
using
your
them.
average cyclist,
Yeah.
but I am intrigued to see whether these will hit the Tour de France. For the people trying to find those marginal gains,
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
I mean, when you talk about hubs, there's a lot to them. Surely there's got to be something else other than the cooling fins on these. Any special
Titanium axles.
Well, titanium axles, but any special free hub?
This free hub is the noisiest free hub you've ever heard. Yeah, but they do also make another one for mainly downhill, and I guess you could use it for gravel as well. So whereas this one has got like a ratchet in it, the other one has a clutch and instant engagement. which
Yeah.
I'd be intrigued to ride.
I know that, I believe it was Mavic, maybe. They made a hub system where it does detach when you're freewheeling. So essentially, your rear hub is as free as your front hub. In my mind, that's going to have a greater impact on speed versus these cooling fins.
I'm intrigued to find out, because I do have a problem with quite a lot of hubs on a lot of wheels. I think it's somewhere that wheel manufacturers really cut costs, to the extent that I've spec'd my own wheels with DT hubs because I find them reliable, and I've found so many other hubs unreliable. So maybe this is the new frontier of hubs that actually work.
Agreed. Now, the point at which this video goes out, the Tour de France is going to be approaching some proper mountains, actually, some proper climbs. And that is a very dicey segue onto a product that I want to discuss, talk about briefly. But Tadej, obviously indoor training company owned by Garmin, they have come out with a new product called the Tadej Alpine. It is a device that you can attach to your forks whilst you're training, and it will simulate the gradient of which you are riding, so it will rise you up and down. This isn't new tech. We've seen it from Wahoo, we've seen it from Elite. It's a bit fancier than putting a couple of blocks of wood under your front wheel. I believe it also does have steering.
Yeah, so I was initially quite impressed that they'd managed to integrate that.
Yeah.
And then I was immediately unimpressed.
Yeah. At the price.
Yes.
Right. The price. £929.99 or $1,100. That's mad.
That is crazy.
You could buy a whole trainer for that. Like, you are doubling the cost of your setup. It's...
Right, so I've got a game.
Go on.
What would you rather spend £929 or $1,100 on?
Oh, I mean, rent, maybe. I mean, you could buy a set of wheels that we're going to be speaking about a little bit later.
Yeah.
You could buy probably all the tyres you would ever need for about 10 years worth of cycling, 20 years of
Do you
cycling.
know how many
maybe.
times I've said that oversized pulley wheel systems are a complete waste of money?
Would you rather have oversized pulley
I reckon
wheels?
I'd rather spend my money on that
Fair enough.
than a riser.
I'd maybe even just, that's going to get you a fair way to a trip to the south of France. I mean,
Yes.
that would do
Yeah.
flights and hotel.
Yeah, I went to Mallorca for less than that, I think.
Yeah, I'd rather have a holiday than that. I would rather... There's so much. Basically, I think what we're getting at is this is a...
Hover Air X1 Pro Max drone.
I mean, how many could you buy for that price?
A few.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's a very lavish purchase. Something I don't think it's going to be a high volume product.
They're not going to sell that at RRP, surely.
No.
Like, from the get-go, surely.
No, I mean, you'll be able to find deals on these, I imagine, fairly quickly, 10, 20% off. But if you love indoor training and you have the money to spend and you've got a tax system that you want to kind of have everything under the same umbrella, then sure, go for it. I mean, we've not tested it, but Tax generally has good build quality and they make good products. Obviously owned by Garmin, as I said. So if you want to try it, then give it a go. It'll be interesting to see if any of the teams at the Tour de France are using them as part of their warm-up sessions, just to kind of like get the product placement out there. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I just think they've missed the mark there. Let us know if you agree or disagree with us in the comments below. Right. I've been walking around the Tour de France Grand Depart before they actually departed, just being nosy at team hotels and things like that. And loads of new tech, you'll have to watch the other videos for that. But one thing that wasn't so much of a surprise is a load of new Specialized wheels, because they released them just before the tour. So there's actually 3 new sets. There's the Rapide CLX3.
Yep.
There's the Rapide CL3, which is the cheaper version. And then there's also the Rapide Sprint, which are potentially the most intriguing. They're deeper at the front than they are at the rear.
What's the reasoning behind that? Do you know why?
So aerodynamics versus weight has been a debate for, that is generally why you mix your wheel depths. And up until now, you've always gone, well, I've always gone deeper at the rear, shallower at the front, because you have a steering moment at the front. So it makes sense to have your shallower wheel there, rather than going both deep, because then you're just lugging around extra weight, basically. But Specialized says in their press release, they said everything you thought you knew was wrong.
According to them.
It was them that told us.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, this is. I hate those quotes that they have because it's very much like, well, yeah, according to your research, which shows your product off in the best way. Yeah. And conveniently, nobody else makes a wheel set where the front is deeper than the rear.
Yeah, I mean, Specialized is famous for backtracking on some of their claims, aren't they? I remember the Venge, which they then killed. Boo. I want Avenge. But yeah, some stats of the wheels. We've got the CLX3, which have DT180 hubs, internals in a Roval outer, what do you call
Package.
it? Shell.
Yeah.
They are 51mm at the front, 48mm at the rear, 1,305 grams. It's competitive enough.
But I mean, for a flagship new product, I think those are actually on the weighty side because we're talking about their Halo product here. If you look at the scopes, I'm sorry, you have to talk about the Artex. The equivalents, I think, are about 100-ish or more grams lighter.
The only thing with the scopes is that they make a 40mm and they make a 60mm.
Yeah.
And I don't want either of those. I want a 50mm wheel set.
Fair enough. But I guess it's more so just an example of the fact of top-end wheel development. It kind of feels like some of the specs from Specialized have kind of fallen behind a little bit.
Yeah, to an extent. Like, I have got a set of Fast Sports wheels, which are lighter than that. One thing that Rovals have always done well, in my opinion, is stability.
Yeah.
That super wide front wheel, really stable. Now they made it deeper.
Yeah.
So we'll find out if that one also is stable. As for prices, well, we'll pop them up on the screen because I've got all of them.
Yeah.
Front wheel, rear wheel, blah, blah, blah. They then make a cheaper version, the CL3. They're 1,555 grams.
Yeah.
Which that's getting on the weighty side, really. I don't think weight is the be all and end all, to be fair.
No, it's not.
If I was going to save it off of anywhere, it would probably be the wheels.
Yes.
They've also got DT350 hubs, which I feel like they probably should have DT240 for that price.
Yeah.
And then finally, you've got the Sprint CLX, which is 63mm at the front, deep, and then 58mm deep at the rear, 1,395 grams.
I think something that also needs to be discussed, though, is the internal width of the wheels.
21mm.
And is that across all three wheel sets?
Yes.
And they're hooked, aren't they?
They are hooked.
So 21mm hooked is... I'm happy with hooked. If you want to go run hooked, I think that's totally fine. But the 21mm, again, it's just a thing which is like, come on, guys, you should be up to about 23.
I think so. So Specialized say that they've tested all the combos, and with a 28mm tyre, apparently 21mm internal is fastest, which doesn't necessarily correlate with what other people are saying.
Yeah.
I'll take their word for it that their wheels are faster with 21mm internals. I wouldn't mind betting in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, when they release their next wheel set,
They'll be wider.
they'll be wider.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also, that might be the case for 28mm tyres, but...
What tyres are you using on the road?
Exactly. Well, at the moment, I'm running a set of 30s, but I'll probably go up to some 32s.
Yeah, I'm racing on 30s now.
There we go. And that's the thing. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of guys at the Tour and the women at the Tour de France Femmes, I'm sure they're going to be racing on 28s. I'm sure that's probably going to be the most common size. It won't be the only size, though. We will see people on 30s.
Yes. Well, speaking of one size fits all, Continental have released their new Archetype tyre.
Yes.
So all of UAE will be on a 30mm tyre and only a 30mm tyre because Continental have only released it in 30mm.
Yeah. Cool looking tyre though, actually. And
Oh, God.
oh no.
Almighty. Did you just say a cool looking tyre?
I think it looks cool. But I mean, it's nice to see like a slightly different graphic on the sidewall. But I mean, let's be real. This is the precursor to a GP6000.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine has been riding on some, and he's a big, big fan. The Archetypes are a limited run.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's not going to be too many pairs out there. In fact, I think they're already sold out in most places.
Wouldn't surprise me.
They're a little bit lighter than the STR, I think, by about 35 grams.
Yeah, that's right.
Not huge gains.
They're still heavier than the TT.
Yes. Which is what a lot of the pro teams have been using. A lot of the Continental sponsored teams, they've either been putting a TT TR on the front, or they've been using the Aero 111, and then they've been using a TT on the back. Yeah, so I think all of these Continental supported teams, obviously they're running them at the Tour.
I think they'll use them for a lot of other races too.
True. Tell us about price though. Obviously you can't really buy them, but...
Well, if you want a set of tyres that Sam think look cool, then it will set you back $94.99 per tyre. A quick interlude to tell you about this video's sponsor, the Insurance Emporium. If you're considering getting your bike insured or perhaps want to explore another provider, the Insurance Emporium is worth checking out. They have a de facto 5-star rating, a Trustpilot score of excellent, and a FIFO Platinum trusted service. You can cover up to 6 bikes on one policy, all of which can be protected from things like theft, loss, or accidental damage. Having anything bad happen to your pride and joy is always painful, but with an insurance policy, you can at least mitigate some of that heartache by knowing that someone has your back. If you'd like to check them out, then there's a link down below, and there's also details of a discount available on their website. There is some good news though, because, let me set the scene. It's the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Everyone is absolutely inspired to get out on their bikes.
Yes.
People are watching it. It's done really well. I've got mates that never talk about cycling. They're talking about cycling. They might have a really old bike in the back of their garage. They've been out a few times and now they're actually into cycling. They love what we love.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get it as well. People asking you, what bike should I buy? And up until now, I've probably tried to help them sort of find something on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, secondhand. You just get so much more for your money.
Yeah.
I think my opinion might have just changed because Canyon have released their new Endurace Allroad. It's aluminium, it's under £1,000, it's under €1,000, it's under $1,000.
Not under $1,000.
Oh, bugger.
It's $1,399, but in Europe and the UK, you're bang on under 1,000. And it's a bike that is incredibly close to being the go-to recommendation. If you want to buy a bike and you want to take it fairly seriously, let's not forget, around that £1,000 mark is still a serious amount of money for purchasing a bike. But it's very close to being a bike that you can just say, if you want to get started and you're happy to put a bit of money into it, this is a really good place to go. As you said, aluminium frame, carbon fork, you've got top tube bag mounting points, you've got fender mounts, you've got
Full hydraulic disc brakes.
full hydraulic disc brakes,
Which
exactly.
I hate cable operated
Yes.
disc brakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly that. And that's the thing. This is why this bike is quite so exciting, because the other bikes that compete with this often have mechanical disc brakes like the Triban RC520 or even options from Cube as well. It's such an exciting proposition. Brand new Shimano Q's group set. Exactly. So it's got a really wide gear range. It's got an 11-39 tooth cassette, 50-34 chain set. So gearing wise, you are really well covered.
Fair play Canyon. They've just thought it through. 40mm tyre clearance as well. So if you want to go off road.
Yeah, and it comes with 35mm tyres. So
Brilliant.
again, out
Brilliant
of the box,
for UK.
really good.
Brilliant for any crap roads.
The only thing that I think they've dropped the ball on is their bar widths. They've done such a good job of providing a good range of sizes from 2XS to 2XL, yet the narrowest bar width, I hate to keep yapping on about bar width, but the smallest is 400mm. And if we consider the size of the person who's going to be on a 2XS bike, they really should have put a 36 or a 38 on that.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that stops me from being like, yes, go ahead and buy that.
I'm not saying you shouldn't get it from factory, but realistically, 25, 30 quid, you can get the bars that do fit you.
I'd agree, but
and it doesn't have internal cable routing, so it should be an easy-ish swap.
It is an easy-ish swap. I totally agree with that. But you shouldn't have to.
No.
You shouldn't have to go through the faff of having to bar swap, which again, if you're new to cycling, a bar swap's going to be quite daunting. And then you've got the cost of like new bar tape as well on top of that, the labour of having it done.
What are you doing to your bar tape?
Oh, when bar tape comes off my bike, it's getting shredded. But I think that's one of those big things. And again, even on crank length, the shortest crank length is 170mm. Q's is available in 165. That should have been fitted. A company as big as Canyon has the resources to be able to do something like this really well. They just should have. This one comes in two colorways. You've got the silver and the purple, but only the silver is going to be available in the US. But otherwise, I think this bike, with a change of tyres, can really change its personality.
Yeah, the wheels and tyres are quite heavy, but realistically, they're going to be solid.
Yes.
They've got loads of spokes. They're going to be a sturdy wheel set.
Absolutely.
And then if you do get into cycling, you really love it, then upgrade your wheels next year.
Even just doing the tyres is going to have a big impact on what that bike feels like to ride. But overall though, it's like 95% of the way to just being like the perfect first bike for anyone. What's interesting is that this is one of the first bikes that we've seen come with that new Shimano Q's group set. If this is where it's starting, when all of the other brands start to get their hands on their Shimano Q's builds, it's going to be interesting to see how they compare then.
Yeah.
Because no doubt there's going to be a tri-band that gets the Shimano Q's treatment. I'm going to assume that an Alley is. I'm going to assume that a Cannondale is, maybe even a potential CAD 14 or an Optimo. It's at that point that we can then start to be like, how good a value really is the Canyon? Maybe in a year's time, it might have changed, potentially. It's still going to be the one to buy.
Well, the sub £1,000 road bike is back. And on that note, let us know what you think of any of this tech down in the comments below. Enjoy the rest of the Tour de France. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.